Local crew, what is up, guys? Hey, let's stop for a moment and celebrate. We made it to the fifth and final week of Her Crew discussion. I don't know about you. I'm sure you're thankful. I'm thankful. I know the discussions you've been having, they've been heavy. They've been marking. I think this is going to be a collection that none of us forget for a very long time. It's been super challenging, but if you're anything like me, I have loved every minute of it. Here we go, week 5. I'm gonna go quick, okay? Let's talk about marriage. Let's talk about it. Here was the premise, is in marriage, you get to choose. Are you gonna fight in your marriage, or are you going to fight for your marriage? Fighting in your marriage, pretty easy, right? Pro tip, see your spouse as the enemy, right? Bring up everything that annoys you about them. But if you're gonna fight for your marriage, you gotta look in the mirror. Lord, show me where I can improve. Here was a big one-liner kind of as we set sailed with the message. My marriage will be blessed. My future marriage will be blessed when I focus on my responsibilities rather than my rights. We had 3 points. I'm going to move quick. Number 1, my walk with Christ. Philippians chapter 2, verse 1. Therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, any common sharing, some translations say fellowship in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion. Might have been my favorite part of the sermon this past Sunday. I kind of gave the dating couples, the married couples, go on a date and go over these 4 things. Do a checklist. Are these things represented in your marriage? The first one was encouragement. Fellas, do we speak well of our wives? Ladies, do you encourage your husband? I think one of my favorite quotes from the entire series was, men always know when they're getting it wrong, but rarely ever hear about it when they're getting it right. Is there encouragement? Letter B, is there comfort? Like men, when the garage door opens at 5 o'clock when you get home from work, does she feel comfort or does she feel conflict? Same thing, ladies. Is it always the drama? Do you bring comfort or do you bring chaos? Letter C, fellowship. I think one of the most common misconceptions when we get married is nothing really changes and I get to keep my single lifestyle. I would just ask you a question at Crew tonight. When you get married, did you look for more opportunities, more chances to spend time together? Or was it, you know what, maybe I can, I go to work, do this. I'm looking for less opportunities to hang out. And I know I picked on softball. I felt like I could do that. Okay, that's something that I would enjoy, but we want to find hobbies that we do together. Hey, tenderness and compassion. The truth is, in marriage, oftentimes there's a lot of tough conversations that you have to have. Have them in tenderness. Have them with compassion, right? The way you do that is you realize you aren't perfect either. Have tenderness, have compassion, and have the conversation with your spouse. I know it's easy to run to the girlfriends. I know it's easy to run to the guys at work. Have it with your spouse. Number 2, see like Christ. Philippians 2:2. Then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and one in mind. Single people, my YA groups all across the city right now, I came for you with this point, okay? I challenged you. This verse oftentimes is violated by single Christians. And we kind of pointed out most of the time it's single ladies, but can we also agree, fellas, sometimes it's you as well. Be careful, be aware, take caution, understand, and notify yourself. If you are making excuses for a person over and over, you need to take note of that, because here's the truth. I know we all have excuses in the book, but here's what I think leads to that. I think it's desperation. I challenged you and I asked you, are you desperate? Because desperation in dating always leads to destruction. I know there's going to be some good conversation on that one. But number 3, be like Christ. Philippians chapter 2, we'll start in verse 3. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Husbands, let's read that one again, okay? Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interest of others. Kind of challenge you, what would happen if you put your spouse's interests above your interests? Can I promise you something? If you do that, those conversations will never wind up in divorce court. Here we go, verse 5. In your relationships with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus. I read that and that challenged me last week in preparation for Sunday. Would Naomi accuse me, would your husband accuse you of, oh my goodness, you're so much like Jesus. Would you quit serving me? Would you quit focusing on your responsibilities rather than your rights? Guys, it was a great series. I know it was challenging. I'm excited for this Sunday. This Sunday, we are jumping into a 4-week study beginning this Sunday called Mighty. We're going to go Judges chapter 6 through the life and the stories of Gideon. I can't wait. Love you. Have a great crew.